Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 360 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast show thing for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the man who made his triumphant return to social media, Mr. Dafford Moody. We talked about it last week. Boom. Got you in, baby.
They heard me complaining.
No, what happened was I was like, for about 3 days after that podcast, I was looking and I was like, I'm not getting any codes. I'm still not getting any codes. Yeah, hang on. Fitz, you got any codes? He went, I'll keep an eye out for you. Next day, here's a code. Sweet.
Thanks, Vitz. I didn't know that, but thank you, Vitz.
and then like, I got one the day after.
Well,
So I was like, well. But yes, no. Yeah, Fitz gave me a code.
thank you, Vitz.
Clearly, Blue Sky likes him more than me. I understand that.
I get it.
I get it.
I get it.
Oh,
I
100%.
get it.
How you doing?
I'm not bad. It's been like a long. It feels like it's been a long week, but at the same time, weirdly, I feel like it's been short, and I'm just like, brain, you can't handle that. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Pick one, long or short.
Simultaneously thinking, God, I can't believe it's Thursday already, and God, I can't believe it took this long.
Yeah, it's really weird. It is. It's been really weird. But no, yeah, I'm not bad. Obviously cracking on with work and everything. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Yeah.
Sweet. How are you finding? How long has it been since you're on Twitter? I forget.
Since I've been off or on Twitter.
Yeah, like how long has it been since you deleted your account?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. Did I delete it this year or was it the late end last year? I can't fully remember. I think there's a chance it's probably been around 6 months minimum. So off Twitter.
So like New Year's new me.
When did he take over? Was it this year?
Oh fuck, I don't even remember. I know it was last year. It was last year he took over.
I pretty sure I left before he fully took over.
All right.
So it's longer.
It's when he walked into the thing with the sink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember. That dragged on, much like other acquisitions that we've been talking about. That dragged on for a while, so it's hard to remember when it finally concluded.
Yeah, I can't fully remember, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was before he fully took over and everything. So, yeah, I'm back on. It was weird. I won't lie. I was just like, damn, it's like relearning things again. Okay. It's like when I was like saying this, like I'm relearning things. It's like I'm relearning walking, Amy.
Oh wow,
and everything. But no, yeah. It's like it's a canny space. It seems like it.
It's decent, you know.
Yeah, followed a few people who were in the industry and everything. It was really weird when I went through your list, and I was just like, "You following someone who I work with?
Sure.
You don't even know who this fucker is."
No.
I'll say this: he's the nicest person ever. I have a great chat with him all the time. He's a good banter. It just made me laugh.
Yeah. Have you told him this anecdote?
No, not yet. No, I haven't seen him. I was at home today when I worked, so I haven't seen him.
Yeah, there was a couple of people that did like industry, like, hey, why don't you say who you are and like if you work in games and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just scrolled. I put my own thing in there. What did I write? It's like, oh yeah, I make videos. I'm currently making a cursed video about Mass Effect and a less cursed video about Microsoft Flight Simulator. That was my entire introduction. People followed me off of the back of that as well.
Nice.
Now, I don't think either of those things is really true at the moment, but they were when I said it. And yeah, you just follow people. It's just like, okay, cool. Like you, yeah, cool. And then people started following me back. And then I was like, wait, these people actually work. These people actually do work on video games.
Yeah,
and then you feel that slight pressure of just like, oh, I talk about these things and they make them. What was our last podcast episode? And it was the one from not last week, but the week before. And it was just like, oh no. I haven't shared our podcast on there yet because I'm just every time I think about it, I'm just like, no. It's like stage fright.
I'll do it.
No, I mean I'll do it. I'm gonna do it.
I'll do it.
I'll get over it.
This episode.
I'll get over it.
Share this episode.
No, because then if everybody clicks on it, they'll know.
We want them to know, Amy.
I don't want
them to know.
I make podcasts.
Everything.
I make podcasts and I stream and I make video essays about video games, but I don't want to be perceived. God,
I don't want to be seen.
I don't want to be seen. I just make
I'm
things
invisible.
I just make things wherein I'm seen. I don't want to be seen while yeah.
You want to be John Cena, basically the part where you just like, you can't see me.
Yeah,
while everyone can see you.
just like Drax just.
Yeah.
If
the art of being invisible.
If the space peanut was talking about video games. Just like the video and move on. Don't listen to what I have to say. It's probably bollocks.
Listen to what we have to say. Listen to what we have to say. Do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it.
I want to talk about the Mass Effect video in the what's happening next week bit, I guess. That seems to be where we put all of our announcements at this point. But Blue Sky's been interesting because like I have both apps installed on my phone.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have DMs, I still DM people. So I use Twitter for that. So like I very occasionally scroll through the timeline. I don't think I've posted since Saturday. All over there.
On Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Like I'll retweet stuff occasionally. But like it is like the having both things it is interesting where it's like you go on Blue Sky and everybody's just like nice. And friendly to each other, like for the most part. And then I go on Twitter and it's just a fucking trash fire. It's the purge.
Oh god, that's too right.
That is too right.
That's much better.
Yeah, Twitter's like the purge, and Blue Sky is like, I don't know. What's not as bad as living in the purge? The Shire. And there you go. Yeah, Blue Sky is like the Shire.
Yeah.
But way hornier. And Twitter is just the purge.
And yet Twitter's still hornier, I bet. Still horny.
No. I mean, yeah, probably.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I imagine
still is, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't go on that much anymore, so I don't really know.
No, but yeah, the experience so far has been really, really canny. Yeah.
Me?
Don't really have anything really to say.
No. I was just curious if you were like, it's weird. I tweet things or whatever, skeet things, and people read them, and I get likes again. I think that's one of my favorite things about it. Doesn't have notifications. So, like, to see what's going on, you have to actually open.
You have to go into it. Yeah. That was a bit weird. I was thinking, and then I was just like, I go back on it, like I put something out or whatever, and then I go back on, then I don't hear anything, obviously. But I automatically thought I was going. No, that sounded very.
You're waiting for it to go. You've got a like. You've got a notification.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I was whatnot, like probably from you and everything, and then I'll go in and think, wait, but now it's saying I've got like numbers on it. I was saying, but I haven't been notified this. So wait, there's no notification.
No
notification. Really?
No. Cool. It's in beta. And honestly, at first I was like, oh, this isn't like I'm gonna forget about this, and I just put the app icon in the place where Twitter was on my phone. So now I just open it automatically. And honestly, I kind of like the fact that I don't get notifications. It's nice because I feel like they interrupt whatever you're doing. Right? You look and you see you've got a notification. Even if it just says, Daffy Moody liked your post, I would still open the app to look at you liking my post, even though I don't need to interact with it any more than, like, if I see the notification, I'm like, cool, I can't interact with your like, but I'd still open the open the app. Whereas now it's like, I'm in control.
True. To what I can tell, I don't know if it's a me thing or anything like that, but I've, like, tried to share, like, a GIF.
GIFs don't work.
GIFs don't work.
GIFs don't
I thought
work.
so. Yeah,
that's just another thing where I'm just like, you know what? Now that I've learned to live with it, it's fine.
I like a good GIF.
A good GIF. I'll tell you what, GIFs are good. I enjoy a GIF.
Good. I won't lie.
I was sending Vit several Star Trek related ones when he was like, I'm watching the newest episode, and I was like, I've already seen it, so I'm not going to say anything. But I was sending him gifts to the things that he was saying. Spock-related gifts, as you do.
I won't lie. It's my favourite episode of the season.
It's... building suspense through not
Amy
being
just
able
died.
to talk. How dare you? No, it's amazing. I fucking loved it from start to finish.
I think overall, the second episode of Poise get, if it was to get applauded, it would be that one.
Yeah.
Just because I think of how heavy and also how topical it was. But this one was just pure Ethan Peck.
Ethan Peck.
Peck?
Ethan Peck.
Peck. It was just pure Ethan Peck, and he was absolutely brilliant. Now, if you've watched me since Discovery Season 2, I've loved him as Spock. I literally call him Hot Spock.
Hot Spock.
Always Hot Spock, because he's fucking hot
this time,
as fuck.
Funny Spock.
Funny Spock. Today, he was funny Spock.
Yeah. No spoilers for the episode, but fuck me, was it his best episode yet?
For me, it's the season's best episode overall for me, where I've truly... really got on with everything that was happening in the episode. Apart from the second episode I think is phenomenal. There's no doubt about that. But this one was just a pure delight for me. And for me, I'll say this right now for you, Amy. I get it. I get why you like Nurse Chapel.
Thank you.
They took them 2 seasons to get there.
Did it though?
For me, yes. She was bland in season 1. I'm sorry.
I like that. I like that the intros to these podcasts have started to become like this. Amy gets vindicated over a Star Trek opinions segment, where it's like, I was right about Nurse Chapel. I was right about the Titan.
Yeah, but I'm a whore when it comes to ships. I eventually turn around for that one. When it comes to Nurse Chapel, it's not really a vindication for you. It's just more the writers decided the right are good for once. For me.
Whereas when I would disagree with that statement.
Yeah, that's the truth about it. That's the subjectivity about it. No, I finally got it, and I connected with her. Of just the strength in her and everything. They did a really good. It was a two-part, but it's basically it's Spock and her episode, but mostly a Spock episode. But she's very prevalent in the episode for what happens. And by the end of it, I was just emotionally involved for the ending of that episode, and I was just like
the episode ends, and then you go.
You do, yeah, you do. You go, and then scream into a pillow. Yeah. She was brilliant. Brilliant to the writing and everything for it, because I think that really elevated her for it. Brilliant performance from her, really well. I haven't dissed any of her performance. I think she's been able to work with. I think she's doing really well. And it's sadly for me, I want more. It's like last week's episode was a mixture of the pilot and Pike. I'm still waiting for the pilot to get more things for me personally.
If that was because they've been saying like, oh, there's an Ortegas episode this season, and I was like, if that was it, I'm gonna be mad, because like Ortegas is cool. She's
cool. That's it.
She's fine for a character in a TV show that's taken its time. The show's taken its time to do its thing, which is fine. It's just the way that they decided to make the show. So like people like Ortegas was just like, okay, cool, like we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
But then it's like, if that was the episode where we got to it, I'm just gonna be like, for fuck's sake. That's what we got. Agreed. Like it was fine, but I need more. Like especially like the 2 episodes we had the 2 weeks before, where it's like the characters that were featured were fucking featured. And then Ortega's just...
the second episode or the third episode?
Both.
Both. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I love both of those episodes.
Yeah. It's very interesting that for the most part of this season, Pike's very behind the scenes thing right now.
Well, so I'm
guessing he's going to get a massive payoff at the end.
I wonder if it has something to do with the Lower Decks crossover.
Maybe. But yeah, it just seems like he's there still, and yet.
He was amazing in this episode, just doing his thing.
Yeah.
I cackled so hard when he was carrying that tray of food, and then he just went.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna. There's no spoilers or anything like that, but holy fuck, the mother.
And the father. And the father.
Oh, shit.
The father's just oh, these are really nice. And then she's just like, they're not though. And he goes, yes.
I've never seen a Vulcan so whipped in my life. It's like, what the hell?
Mother was awesome, though. I loved it.
Oh, scary. But when you literally see her for the first time, just like, run away, Spock.
You hear in your head, you hear the Romulan theme, like the one that they used in the last episode of last season, like dun dun dun. You just like you're waiting for that like zoom in. I'm just like, oh, the episode's villain has arrived.
But yeah, it was incredible. And I'll say this right now. Damn, Spock, I can see where you get your hotness from, but damn, you got a hot mother. I was thinking, wow. I didn't realize we were going to see his mother this year.
That was cool.
We've seen Savik. He was obviously in Discovery. We haven't seen him, I think, in this show yet.
Not in this show. She was in Discovery as well. So she came back. Yeah, she came back.
Don't be sorry, I forgot.
I don't remember a lot about Discovery.
I enjoy Discovery, but
not Discovery's fault. It was years ago,
yeah.
and it's not the most memorable. Like, if you ask me 5 years from now, like about Strange New Worlds, I'm gonna be like, remember the that one Spock episode from season 2? But like with Discovery, it's like I don't really remember a great deal about it.
yeah. I couldn't say there's a memorable episode. There probably is, but I just wouldn't be able to say that one.
Yeah, that's more like memorable moments, I think.
Yeah,
it'll be the same thing with Star Trek Picard season 3, where it's like I don't know if there's memorable episodes, but there's definitely memorable moments.
I think there's memorable episodes.
I think there's memorable episodes, but I think years down the line, because it's all like story arced, it's gonna all bleed together in my brain.
Yeah. That's fair. But I'm enjoying the season so far. I am for season 2. I thought episode 1 was enjoyable. Spock's line, like for what you see in the trailer, I wish the ship to go now. And then he just thought libraries. Yeah, that's brilliant because everybody's Spock. I love Spock in this show. Scene 2, episode 2, phenomenal,
incredible,
just for everything. Yeah, it was just like for it. Episode 3, loved episode 3. A little too fast, I thought.
I wish they'd started with episode 2.
Yeah, I was very surprised that they didn't lead straight into sorting the ending of the season 1 out straight away. They obviously changed up. They wanted to change it up, but yeah. Loved episode 3. I loved Kirk in that. I thought Kirk was amazing.
Oh my god, so good. Yeah.
I want more of Kirk.
I was like,
new Kirk.
Oh, we're doing fun time travel hijinks, like at the beginning, and then at the end, it's just like I'm never going to emotionally recover from this.
Yeah. And she was my favorite new character from the new season, from season 1. I absolutely love her. And she's been nothing but carried even more. Like, I was so disappointed when she kind of like took a break from season 1 a little bit, and I was just like, wait, what?
No, well, it was just the last episode, and she wasn't really going to be in the last. Like, once you see what the last episode is and what it's doing, it's like, yeah, she wasn't really going to be in it. So
yeah, I get it, but I was still like, why are you getting rid of the best character, the brand new best character for me?
Like the last episode of season 1 was like phenomenally amazing.
Yeah,
and the concept of it was amazing. Like, especially as someone who remembers the episode that they were basically remaking, I was just like, "This is fucking fantastic."
Yeah. So I've got a question. I want to ask a question.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to tag this as Star Trek Strange New Worlds review, so don't worry about it.
How do you think they're going to resolve Pike? Obviously, Pike, we all know right now it's on course to know what's going to happen to him. Do you think they retcon it?
Star Trek spoilers.
Some wibbly wonkly timey-wimey shit.
So if you don't want to know any specific Star Trek stuff, like you're watching Strange New Worlds and you don't know much about Star Trek, just skip ahead because I'm going to do some stuff. Because it's an interesting question. So to answer your question, timestamps below if you don't know where they are. Like at the end of season 1, I was like, no, they're not. They're not going to wibbly wobbly their way out of it. Because like the whole point was like for him to just go like, you can't fucking do anything about this.
Yeah.
But I'm picking up on the fact that a lot of stuff, bearing in mind there's a Lower Decks crossover in 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
2
confirmed?
weeks. It's confirmed. Yeah, it's episode 7. You can see because it's Jonathan Frakes' directed episode, and you can see the episode that he's directed as episode 7.
Keep me down. I'm going to phone in sick for that episode, just so I can watch early.
I don't work
Sorry,
Thursdays.
boss.
Like,
I'll
we'll watch it together. We'll sync up and we'll be on Discord. We'll be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. But no, because so that episode's obviously going to be a time travel episode, and there's already been a time travel episode. And this week's episode, there was a thing about space time vortex and stuff, and I'm like, they're doing a lot of stuff about time travel and messing with time, and they even referenced the thing from Enterprise, the temporal war. I'm just like, are they going to fuck around with the time? I'm in, by the way, because when I watched episode 3 with Laan and Khan, I was like, I got the vibes that like this was a great and satisfying episode, but I also got the vibes with this specific story is not over yet. Like what they're doing with like Laan and Khan and all this stuff. I was like, they're going to come back to this, I think. So I think they're going to do some wibbly wobbly stuff. I don't know if it's going to. It's such a downer. Like if you think like the series finale of Strange New Worlds is going to end more or less either with Pike essentially dying or like
becoming paralyzed.
Yeah.
And turning from a gorgeous hunk to
the
blob
in a wheelchair and like or it's going to end just before it, and like that's like for a show that knows how to have fun, that's such a downer. Like
there's no doubt about that. That's
I don't like why it. Like it's like this. It's like the elephant in the room. It's like, oh man, are we really going to end the series this way?
Yeah, and it's like things with like what happened at the end of this episode of the latest episode. What we talked about.
Yeah.
That future isn't bright.
No, it's not
whatsoever. You know, it ain't bright for them or anything like that, and whatnot. Which is obviously so. It's like, what do you do? Like, there's stuff. Like I said, there are a lot of things that happen. They're writing the show so well for the most part. Where I would say for myself, most characters I love, and I want to see brilliant, awesome things happen for them and everything. We already know what happens to Spock.
Sure.
And everything.
We're very aware of what happens to Spock. Yeah. But no, like the thing with Spock and Nurse Chapel, like I love that they're doing it the way they're doing it. I love the approach Strange New Worlds has taken as a prequel, because you see so many prequels where it's just like, oh, it's the characters you know and love that just look different and younger. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, I want to see, because like. Neither of us are the same people who we were 7 years ago, right? So I want to see them start from somewhere else and evolve into the characters that we see in the original series. So I love the fact that they haven't taken the easy road, especially with Spock, because like the whole reason Spock's character exists the way it does is because of in the cage, the unaired Star Trek pilot, he was like laughing and smiling, and then in the original series, like at the beginning of that, he was like the Vulcan that we know and love today. So they've decided to go, like you could just chalk that up to the fact that it's basically a different character because it's a different pilot, or we could get super nerdy about it and write a journey from there to there. And I love the fact that they're writing the journey from there to there, because like there's like Nurse Chapel in the '60s show. Yeah, she basically just exists to swoon over Spock and be like, oh, Mr. Spock. Oh. But, like, there's some interesting stuff in the 60s show, like, where it's like, there's a line at one point Chapel says to Spock in one of the episodes where she's like, I love you and I know you can't love me, but I know you can't love me the way that I want, like, I need, and that's fine. And I'm just like, cool, that plays into this whole show that we're watching. And then it's like, okay, so why did Spock go and get his emotions purged in the right of whatever it is that it's called in Star Trek? It's like there's a because now you're watching a TV show about it. It's like, cool, there's probably a reason, and it's not gonna lie, it's probably gonna destroy me emotionally at this point.
Because I think things are gonna happen not just to one but to the other in the thread. Stuff's
gonna happen. Spock's gonna be like, I need to get rid of these emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna never be okay ever again. This is my favorite version of Spock. I love Leonard Nimoy and I love Zachary Quinto, and they're absolutely amazing. And obviously, this version of Spock could not exist without, especially Leonard Nimoy. But like, I love watching this every week. Even when he only gets a couple of lines, I'm just like, he's so good though. And this week's episode was just like, he's fucking amazing.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
We're in spoiler territory right now. So like, so I can say this, like, even as human Spock, he's still recognizably Spock.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But the thing is about it, like, I think what's going to affect him even more is that he's in a love triangle. That's what he's in.
Yeah.
He's in a love triangle because he does love he does have feelings for both of them, and that's one thing. I think something's going to happen to both of them.
Yeah.
And it's going to involve his brother.
I was going to say, something's going to happen with his brother. Because, like, what Cyborg can do from Star Trek V, and it's like, about... Like, obviously, his wife was in that one episode of Star Trek, the original series, where she engineered a situation where Spock and Kirk had to fight to the death. So, like, bad things are going to happen all around. And it's interesting to see, like, how you get there. And they've done it in a really cool and fun and interesting way.
Yeah, it's been a good show so far. We'll see how it goes for the next 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so excited. Like, we all know I'm excited for the 7th episode, Lower Decks.
Sure.
That's the only one I've been caring about.
Well,
everything else has been gravy.
So you know how, like, we watched Star Trek Picard with my parents watched it, so we watched it together.
Yeah.
So they started watching Strange New Worlds. Like, we started watching that week on week, and in this weird, quirky twist of fate, we started watching it. So, like, they watched episode 1, like, the same week that episode 1 of season 2 dropped. So I've been watching them in tandem. This week's going to be especially fun because obviously this week was the Spock episode, and then like tomorrow, like on Saturday, I'm going to be watching the other Spock episode from last season again because they're both episode 5 and stuff.
Oh yeah, where he transfers over to that's a really good episode.
So
the hijinks one,
like I don't like they don't watch Lower Decks, so I'm like I'm gonna have to try and explain this whole episode to them when we get to it.
God.
It's like. They don't watch it. I don't think they like it, but it's I'm gonna have to be like, okay, look, here's the crack. These two people, yes, there's gonna be a cartoon for part of it. These two people are from a different TV show. Here's all the relevant information. Just sit back and enjoy it. It does make me wonder. Like we've had this episode, which is hilarious, and I'm guessing the Lower Decks episode is also going to be hilarious. So it's like, what are they going to do to us in between? Like. How harrowing is the next episode going to be?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like they aren't talking about the Gorn whatsoever, which was obviously the pivotal thing that was revealed at the end of episode 1. So, and I'm surmising that's going to be the finale for it.
I don't know how much to say here because I've seen all of the episode titles. They're online, and I don't know if you want to know.
I don't care about spoilers.
They're definitely going to be in. They're definitely going to be in at least the season finale.
The Gorn.
Yeah, just based on the episode titles alone. I don't know if they're going to be in any of the other episodes, but I know for a fact they're definitely going to be in the last one.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. We will see.
It's interesting what they're going to do with it. I'm just interested to see where this entire series is going to go. But it's going to be a while before we find out because the actors are on strike now. Oh, they will be.
Season 2 has been finished film. Oh, you mean season
3? Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking, right.
Yeah, no, season 2 is done, but season 3 is
done. Yeah,
it's not close.
Well, it doesn't help that the writers are striking as well. So they were striking before.
Oh yeah.
Now
I know. It's like you saw the shit that they were fucking talking in that article the other day, about the writers being on strike. The executives were just like, oh, we're gonna wait until they're all homeless and all that bollocks. It's just like, fuck you.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of quotes of even for my favorite CEO and Bob Iger, and I'm just like, oh, that's not a right stance for you, Bobby. I like you. I think you're the best CEO out there. I think you made Disney into the powerhouse that it was, and I think you're on the wrong side of you, Bob Iger.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that last part. Anyway, it's been hot. We're a quarter of the way through the podcast. At this point, I'm probably just gonna call the fucking podcast like Star Trek: Strange New Worlds review. I said I couldn't find a main topic. We found a main topic.
No, that's not the main topic.
It has to be, Moody. It's been 30 minutes.
No, it doesn't have to be.
I can't fucking put out a video game podcast that says fucking Xbox is going to buy Activision Blizzard in the first 30 bloody minutes. Star Trek. I can't do that.
Many podcasts literally put the main topic as their last topic.
And those podcasts are wrong. And I hate them, and that's why I don't watch them.
And that's why I like them when they put timestamps and I skip straight to the main topic.
No, I'm on a moral principle. I'm like, if your first thing isn't the thing in your title, I'm out. Sorry. Nope. I don't know what that was. I'm out. Whoa. Anyway,
wobbly, timey-wimey.
To be fair though, Moody, like this was the week to really indulge ourselves about Star Trek because like there's a lot of news, but there's a lot of like smaller news, apart from that one thing I just referenced, which is big news, but I didn't want to make a big deal out of it because we'll probably end up having to talk about it next week. So the whole podcast this week is a bit experimental. The entire podcast is, apart from obviously like Indie Game of the Week and the stuff, is Moody's Time to Shine. I dumped a shitload of fucking news stories in our table of contents, and we're going to go backwards and forwards, picking out what we want to talk about. Cool. Yeah, there's loads in here. And we're just going to pick them out like a grab bag, and at some point I'll go, it's half time, and then at another point I'll go, cool, we're out of time, basically. But I'll let you go first, because it is your time to shine.
So the top one, The Last of Us, has been nominated for 24 Emmys.
I'm not reading every single one. I've got them all here.
I can do it.
So we can reference them all.
I can do that if you want me to.
If you want.
All right. The Last of Us, the first time a live action video game adaptation has been nominated at the Emmys. The nominees are an outstanding drama series, an outstanding lead actor in a drama series, Pedro Pascal, outstanding lead actress in a drama series, Bella Ramsey, an outstanding guest actor in a drama series, Murray Bartlett, outstanding guest actor in a drama series, Lamar Johnson, outstanding guest actor in a drama series, Nick Offerman, outstanding guest actor in a drama series, Kevin Montreal Woodard?
Kevin Montreal Woodard.
That's a fucking name and a half. I love it. Outstanding guest actress in a drama series, Malene Linsky. Outstanding guest actress in a drama series, Anna Tova.
Anna Tov. Do you want me to take it over?
Thank you. Outstanding guest actress in a drama series, Storm Reed. Outstanding production design for a narrative
contemporary program.
Thank you very much. Outstanding cast for a drama series. Outstanding
contemporary costumes for a drama series. I guess the Emmys must have a historical category.
Awards, yeah. Outstanding directing for a drama series. Outstanding picture editing for a drama series. Outstanding contemporary hairstyling. Outstanding main title design. Outstanding contemporary makeup, non-prosthetics. Outstanding prosthetic makeup. Outstanding writing for a drama. Outstanding music composition for a series. Original dramatic score. Outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama. Outstanding sound mixing for a comedy or drama. Outstanding special effects in a series or a movie. Bella Ramsey being nominated for Best Actress despite them being non-binary feels a bit... Is that you or...
Yeah, that's me. This isn't... You remember
the
part...
Is that you or writing that?
Yeah, I wrote all of this, Moody.
So this part here...
Yeah. I wrote the entire thing.
I'm letting you read that. That's not me.
We stopped doing news stories like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know that. Okay.
Yeah,
so
all of it.
Finish off with that.
Well, do you want to talk about the nominations first?
Yes, we can do that.
All of them?
For me, it's the best show this year still. For me personally, overall, I absolutely adored The Last of Us and everything, even though for the most part I knew what everything was happening and everything. I didn't give a flying hoot. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey were absolutely incredible as the two title characters and everything. And each of the guest actors or actresses who were in it all deserve their shout outs and everything. They were absolutely incredible for each episode they were in and whatnot, and they all deserve this. The show was incredible, and yeah, I can't say much more apart from that. It deserves all of these.
I'm doing a Google search. Was anything other than Succession and The Last of Us nominated for any Emmys?
Andor was nominated for stuff. I know Andor was nominated for stuff, and Andor's an incredible Star Wars show. So
That's true. So I've heard. I was going to say, that's true. I've never seen it. Wait, no.
Yeah. I think you would love it.
Probably.
It would be right up your alley. So
Probably would.
But what are your thoughts? Go on.
Yeah, well done. Good job. I don't know, man. Like, they're the Emmys. I think if I went through the nominee list for the Emmys, I've probably seen like
two of them.
Two shows. Yeah. So it's like not like the old days where I've seen so much of it I can be like, I could have an opinion. I can't believe this wasn't nominated. It's like, no, like The Last of Us was a great thing, and like I love the fact that it got recognized for so many. I love the fact that it's the first video game adaptation to ever be nominated for anything at the Emmys, and it got nominated for like every fucking Emmy.
Basically, which is that's amazing to see, and I mean, like it showed like the amount of work that was put into the show. It paid off and everything, and like hopefully this bodes well to like show Warner Brothers and HBO that you need to keep this care for season 2 and whatever amount of seasons you want to put into this show and everything, and you keep doing that, and you'll get nothing but success. And that's true. Yeah. I'm super excited.
Just wave these.
Congratulations.
Go on. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, so just congratulations to every single nominee. So
I'd just like if it was me, it would be more like, I don't know, wave these nominations in Warner Brothers and HBO's faces and just say, see, Bet AI couldn't have done this.
Sorry?
Bet AI couldn't have done this. Maybe you should pay the people who made this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I didn't hear you very well.
Okay.
So that's why I was very confused with what you said when you said waving. I was very confused by that. I didn't hear you very well, though, for some weird reason.
I know, it's fine.
Okay.
You're getting a bit defensive about it, so I'm just like, it's fine, don't worry.
I'm not getting defensive. I'm not getting defensive. Sorry if you think I'm getting defensive. That's not what my intention is.
That's fine. Anyway. I wrote a little bit at the end. Excuse me. Bella Ramsey being nominated for Best Actress despite them being a non-binary does feel a bit shitty. In an Emmy interview in May, they spoke about how, quote, uncomfortable, end quote, they were submitting themselves for the category and called for, quote, more space, end quote, for non-binary actors at award shows.
It should happen. There's no doubt about this. At the end of the day, she doesn't identify she identifies as non-binary and everything, and that's I was going to say their pronouns are they and them, I think, aren't they?
Yes.
So that's what they would like. So we should respect that, and the award ceremony should respect that.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but like there is definitely a change that needs. But I didn't put it in to have to be like, aha, screw you, Emmys. It was more just like, let's put this in here because it was on one of the websites I was reading this about. So I was like, oh, yeah, I should probably write something about that as well.
This is the thing. If they win, if Bella Ramsey wins, they'll say something. There's no doubt about that on their speech and everything. So it's like, just
hopefully, like
there's no doubt about it. Something needs to change and everything, or evolve for it to be more inclusive to not just to
everyone,
for everybody. Yeah. So
hopefully, if they do win and they do get up on stage and they do say something, they do it with the temperament and vocabulary of Ellie. And then throw the Emmy. And then throw the Emmy at somebody.
Damn. But no, yeah. Congratulations to all of them. And
This is interesting. I've never had like the Moody's time to shine power before. I'm overwhelmed with choices, feeling the power surging through me. I want to talk about Capcom because I don't want to talk about the Microsoft thing, at least not yet anyway. So we'll talk about Capcom, quote, discussing, end quote, remakes of unnumbered Resident Evil titles like Code Veronica. Which was basically, this comes from a recent shareholder Q&A where someone from Capcom said, quote, it was, quote, carrying out discussions regarding a future expansion of this series so it can be enjoyed by a wide audience, end quote. They said that when they were asked if they were planning to remake only main numbered Resident Evil titles. But then it is worth noting that this was the same response they gave when they were asked questions about Monster Hunter and Torowo Naporuma, whatever that is, and Sengoku Basara and Onimusha and Exoprimal and Kunitsu Gami, Path of the Goddess. So basically, every game that they were asked about, they had the same answer.
Dino Crisis.
I don't think anyone asked about Dino Crisis.
Fuck them all. They're dead to me.
Their answers to most of the questions about all of their game series that they were asked was, yes, we are carrying out discussions regarding the future of the series. Basically, they're like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what... If they're going to do something with Resident Evil, there's no doubt about it. We don't know what their next quote-unquote remake's going to be right now. They're obviously being very... Because there's two ways to go. It's either you go Veronica or Zero, or you go 5.
0. Well, they could also do the first one again.
They could do that again. There's no doubt about it.
Bring it into like that same like realm as 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, true.
Because I think unlike the original games like 3 and 4, which were like vastly different games, I think 3 remake and 4 remake feel a lot more similar.
Yeah.
So it's like they could like complete they could do 1 again. I mean, they're gonna remake their entire fucking the entire series.
And completely neglect Dino Crisis.
Completely neglect Dino Crisis. They're never gonna. They don't even remember maybe it's just a case of they don't remember that they own it.
Probably.
There's probably some executive at Capcom who's just like seeing everybody talking about Dino Crisis every time there's a Capcom showcase, and he's just sitting in his office and he's like, yeah, a Dino Crisis remake would be great, man. I wish you ever on Dino Crisis would get on that because I want to play it. And nobody's there to say, you own it.
You own it, motherfuckers.
You own it.
I'll create a video and you put it on YouTube and send it to Capcom.
Yeah, sure. I have that power. I definitely do that. Yeah.
Exactly. We're both on Blue Sky. I'll get there eventually.
I don't know if there are many video game executives on Blue Sky at the moment.
Probably
but
not.
I'll see what I can do. You know? Even if it becomes the second video for the YouTube channel where it's a travel log where I travel to Capcom headquarters in Japan to hand deliver the video.
Maybe.
But it's like a laptop, and I'm like, put the laptop down on the desk and open it, hit play.
Yeah.
My friend has a message for you. Click. And then the guy doesn't speak English, so then it's like, oh, fuck.
We'll see.
Yeah, but...
Just get on it, Capcom. Just give us a fucking Dino Crisis remake, for God's sake. Jesus.
Yeah, do Dino Crisis.
This.
Don't do Code Veronica. I don't like Code Veronica.
Well, a lot of people do.
And they're wrong. I don't normally go down that route, but the whole cross-dressing subplot thing was just like, I don't want to have to live through that again.
Just don't play it if they do remake it.
Yeah, but it's not in case of don't play it if they do remake it. There's tons of games I haven't played that I know every fucking detail of because of social media.
Can't help you there.
I can. Don't make the game. Where are we going next?
Let's go. Square Enix is considering remastering more of its back catalogue.
Every time I look right now, because I've had to rearrange, there's a Fallout bobblehead staring right at me.
There's a bobbling at you.
No, it's just smiling at me. Like, hey, remember Fallout 76?
How do you have that? You don't even like it.
I like Fallout. I just don't like some Fallout. I like other Fallouts.
You like the non-Bethesda Fallout? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Apart from new, yeah, basically it is. Yeah.
No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say.
I think they sent me one of those. I think Bethesda, because I got two. I think Bethesda literally sent me one of them.
I'd say I can't say much. I've got a bloody Halo fucking Elite controller and
No,
console.
I think this one, because I didn't get a review copy of Fallout 76, but I did get like this weird package with like a postcard in it, and I think this is where that came from.
Was it? Sorry, we're not sending you a code.
No.
Here's a bubble.
No.
I always respected that. They did that.
I was dumbass enough to buy the game.
You were.
Might be the other one, because that one says Vault 111. I think that was Fallout 4. Square Enix is considering remastering more of its back catalogue. So after the success of Final Fantasy 1 to 6 pixel remasters, Square Enix has said it's considering remastering more of its older titles. I love the question, though. The response came from a question from a shareholder who said, quote, Final Fantasy 1 to 6 pixel remaster has been well received. Are there plans to remaster other past titles? Personally, I would like to play Xenogears. End quote. I mean, big mood. And the reply was, quote, we will refrain from sharing information about new titles, but we are considering various ideas within the company and hope that you will look forward to forthcoming announcements.
It's been nothing but a massive success. Final Fantasy VII Remake was absolutely an incredible success for them. They're obviously building for the next one now. It's coming out early next year, which everyone's excited for and everything. For who's fans of Final Fantasy VII and everything. Like, there's obviously been I've seen a ton of rumors right now of fucking Final Fantasy 9, rumors of a Final Fantasy 10 remake, which I'm just like, yes, please, as well. Yeah, I've heard there's rumors of that and everything, and I'm just like, seriously. And then I'm just thinking, all those people who because apparently I think I hear it's always between two Final Fantasies when it comes to the best.
Sure.
To what I always hear, and that is Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 6.
Interesting.
To what I hear the most part. So I always go thinking, then remake Final Fantasy 6. A lot of people, to my knowledge, I'm only going off what I've read online. Other parts that might oversee it completely different. I can appreciate that. But like everyone, a lot of people I hear say Final Fantasy 6 is an incredible Final Fantasy. You should remake that. My question is also, why are you not remaking Chrono Trigger? That's baffling to me. I've never played it, but I hear nothing that is one of the greatest RPGs out there, and I'm just like, all right, I'm never going to play it because I'm not going to.
I mean, considering we're only talking about like one series that Square Enix owns, it is interesting, isn't it? Where it's like, wow, they're responsible for a lot of classic games.
Wait, they don't own Chrono Trigger?
No, they do. That's what I'm saying. Like, Chrono Trigger was a Final Fantasy. I'm pretty sure it was a Final Fantasy spinoff. But like it's interesting because like you could dig into the history of like Japanese role playing games, and see like Square Enix owns most of them. So like when you're talking about like, hey, do you want to remaster some classic games? It's like you could really fucking go to town on them. You could fill the release slate for the next 15 years. with Square Enix games that people would play remasters of. The Final Fantasy anecdote was interesting because obviously it was like Final Fantasy 7 and 6 are like the most highly regarded ones. I hear a lot of love for 9. I don't know whether that's just you talking in different voices.
Might be me.
But so
I hear 9's pretty good.
9 should get remade.
I think you should go and check out Final Fantasy 9. There's this really cute character on called Vivi. He's adorable. You should go and play it.
I love 9. Like 9 is my second favorite. Which reminds me, someone was texting me about Final Fantasy 16, and they said, "I think this is my like." As they were getting towards the end, they went, "As this was my I think this is going to be my fourth favorite Final Fantasy." And I stared at the text for 30 seconds, and then went, "If this was my fourth favorite Final Fantasy, it would be my least favorite Final Fantasy because it was the fourth Final Fantasy game I played." Ironically, I think that's how it shakes out for me. But yeah, no, I was asking people like what their favorite Final Fantasy was, like just a few friends, when I was like, what games can I stream that I haven't streamed before? And I was like, well, I want to play a Final Fantasy. And it was like the complete opposite of my Pokemon problem where everybody recommended a different game to me. Like I asked 4 people, and I didn't need to ask you because you said Final Fantasy 9 and I've already played it. But like I asked 4 people and 3 of them said Final Fantasy 10.
Have you not played 10?
No, I haven't played 10.
Interesting.
I didn't have a PS2.
Oh, yes. You did
Yeah, I didn't have a PlayStation 2. So I missed 10, I missed 12. And I didn't have a PS3, so I missed 13 as well.
You can skip 12.
I'll get to
I know
it.
there's people who've played it and probably have really enjoyed it, and that's their first Final Fantasy. I just didn't click with it.
I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be interested to see what your thoughts on 10 are. If you do give it a try.
Well,
I love 10. I grew up with 10. Like 10, like after I fell in love with 9, I was just like, what else
next?
is out there type of thing. Yeah, basically. And I could never really find 8 or 7. But I never knew that 7 was this highly regarded thing out there when it came out and whatnot.
That was a purer time, wasn't it? Because like I bought Final Fantasy 7 when it was Platinum Hits game, so it must have already been out for a while.
It would have been,
and like, but like I didn't know, like, Final Fantasy 7 was like at the time like one of the best games ever made. So I didn't know that. And it was like all these games that we played from like that sort of era. And like you just play them like completely fresh. It's just like I don't know anything about this game. Like Resident Evil 2. Like when I sat down to play that, I was like, I never fucking heard of Resident Evil before. Like it was in a magazine, sure, so I remember the name, and the screenshots looked cool. But it was like you don't know what the discourse is about it, so it was just like, cool. I'm just going to experience whatever this game is, and now I'm obsessed with it.
That's fair.
And that was just the 15-minute demo I got in a magazine.
Yeah.
Sometimes wish I could go back to that.
Yeah. Like Square Enix, they have one of the biggest portfolios out there. Like what you just said, like they could prep themselves to do nothing but remakes for the next 20, 25 years, basically, if they wanted to. And they would probably sustainably be fine with that.
They might do better.
Probably, yeah. Like it all really depends on because I'm really curious, like if Final Fantasy 9 is getting remade, I'm very curious, are they going to go the route of what they've done with the Final Fantasy 7 remake? Are they going to change things up? Like I have no problem if they do that because, like I say, it's not going to disrupt the original. The original's out there if I ever want to still play it because I've got it on everything. So I'm curious if they change it up and everything. So I'll be very fascinated to see if they did that.
It'd be interesting because because obviously we talked about the twist when we were watching E3 of like Final Fantasy 7 remake because you hadn't finished it. And I don't know if you could do that again, like in that way. You know what I mean? Like they changed stuff in Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth because they spent a whole game setting up like an in-canon reason why things would get changed. And it's just like, I don't know if they would try to be that clever twice. Because I feel like if it was like, oh, it's the same thing as these weird shadow monsters, and everyone would just go, oh, okay, you're doing that again. But at the same time, I definitely wouldn't put it past the company that made Kingdom Hearts to do that.
The only ones I think they couldn't really do it for, potentially, is 1 to 6.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people, as many as the pure RPG people, compared to apart from the RPG people, really know the stories of Final Fantasy 1 to 6.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people will like if they literally ever came out and announced Final Fantasy 1 remake, then 2, blah 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 blah. People will be. I think there'll be a whole new giant roar of excitement for Square Enix to the part of like, oh my god, what are they going to do and everything, or are they just going to stick to the original stories, but they're vamping it up into the graphics what we have today?
I mean,
and
I haven't played 1 through 6, and I've heard like good things about the storytelling specifically in Final Fantasy 6, but I would like. So this is more of a knowing what I know about video games of the era of Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I can't imagine there's a particularly in-depth story in those games.
potentially, yeah.
Just knowing what I know about games of the era, it's like they didn't really have stories
Yeah.
for the most part. Like,
All
they were like
Mario did was run across
yeah,
the
exactly,
bar to
right.
get
It's
to-
like,
get
oh,
to the
your
castle.
princess is in another castle, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so. Like I think you could indulge yourself a lot with a Final Fantasy. And
couple of
maybe I'm
them.
wrong. You know, maybe they were groundbreaking in their time. But I'm pretty sure I was 1 year old when Final Fantasy came out.
Don't think I was born.
If I remember when it came out, it was in the 80s for sure. But yeah, you know, like. I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? Like you said, if they remake Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy IX OG still exists, and thankfully, you can still play it.
Feel like I've just set you up for the next story.
I set myself up, really.
Yeah, you have a little bit. Yeah, you did a little bit.
87% of classic games are unavailable. So this was a new study that dropped out this week by the Video Game History Foundation and the Software Preservation Network that revealed that 87% of classic games are out of print in the United States. This is more of a reedy one because it's got a lot of stats and figures in it. The study was produced in order to substantiate the amount of video game history in danger of being lost, the Video Game History Foundation said, and provide evidence on why libraries and archives should be allowed to preserve games in a similar way to other media forms such as books and films. The study included over 4,000 games released before 2010, including every Game Boy title released in the United States. The closure of the 3DS and Wii EU shops in March removed more than half of the Game Boy titles still in print at the time, leaving only 5.87% available today. As digital distribution continues to dominate sales of and access to the games, the Video Game History Foundation warned the preservation of games is in danger of getting worse due to the volatile nature of digital stores and services. A recent but small-scale example of this is Google Stadia. When the platform went offline at the beginning of the year, 3 exclusives were completely lost. On Twitter, Video Game History Foundation co-directors Kelsey Lewid and Frank Cifaldi called on the industry and legislation to make reforms which will allow for better preservation of games, echoing the statement made by the foundation itself. This study dropping this week, spoiler alert for what I'm going to be talking about later, was very weird, very strange to me as someone who's been researching game preservation in like in depth for the last couple of weeks. For this to suddenly just get dropped into essentially into my lap.
Yeah,
it was a very strange moment.
Yeah, sadly, this is just the thing that is out there. I think the biggest shock is obviously the size of the number, 87%. That's thousands of games out there.
I mean,
that are gone.
You could legitimately say like that's almost all games.
Yeah. True. Basically, yeah, you could, and that's an incredible thing to think of and everything. Just like to think of like what happened. What was it earlier in March? The closure of the 3DS and Wii U store and everything. Like those games are all gone unless Nintendo re-release them and everything, which probably they are going to do. Let's just be frank here.
Well, I mean, are they though? Like one of the big issues. So the reason the 3DS and Wii U eShops closures had such a dramatic effect on the Game Boy library was because you know how at the moment on Switch Online, that's how we've got like the subscription of like and these old games that you can download and play on your Switch. So there was a version of that for the 3DS and the Wii U, with different games, different classic games. And when Nintendo shut that down, they shut that library down as well. So that's how it had such a dramatic effect on an older Nintendo console. Like they don't seem to be in a rush to put old games out on their platform. I mean, Jesus Christ! Like one of my big problems when I was trying to select a Pokemon game to play was that half of the games people were recommending I couldn't legally play.
Yeah, true. Yeah, this is like I'm still slowly coming around to this type of thing and everything when it comes to preservation and whatnot. I probably should have been a lot earlier. I won't lie. That's on me and everything. Because I won't lie, I was naively trusting in the companies that they would keep them, type of thing. Again, that's all on me and whatnot. For my naivete.
Hey, we're all naive until we're not. That's life.
That's true. That's true. But no, yeah, it's. I don't know if there's like thousands, like they would, like the ones that are gone. Probably they probably won't be able to be brought back or anything like that. And it's like,
well,
the thing is now is then to preserve what is now, basically type of thing, or like the last 10 to 20 years, give or take, of and move forward type of thing.
So we can definitely do that, 100%. Like we should be forward thinking about this stuff for sure. In terms of like, hey, one day PS5 is not going to be a thing, right? Like, and although Sony will probably re-release The Last of Us Part 1 16 times in the next 16 years. Like, maybe we should have a plan for all
them every single year.
Maybe we should have a plan for all these other PlayStation games. But like, no, I mean, there's things that can be done to reclaim the classic games and the historical games. Like, I think the thing that makes the lack of game preservation so egregious is that we live in the digital age, and like, if you have a cartridge of, say, Pokemon Soul Silver, I was trying to think of one of the ones someone had recommended to me. If you had a cartridge of Pokemon Soul Silver, you could dump that cartridge, the contents of that cartridge, onto your computer, and you've preserved that game. Like, if you get an emulator for that game, you can play it on your PC.
Yeah.
So we can do that for a lot of games. It would just require finding intact cartridges, discs, whatever those games are stored on. I've been researching a lot about this for the last couple of weeks. I'm trying not to info dump right now.
No, that's fine. I don't know much about it, so it's very hard.
No, and a lot of people don't, and I think that's fair. To be honest, I think it's fair that a lot of people don't really know. It's like anything within video games, and I don't think it's something people have really talked about.
Yeah, I think no one really talks about it.
Yeah, until sort of like the last, say, 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think the only people who talk about are the ones who like people who have got massive physical game collections, but they're basically so minute out there compared to probably like just people who are just like me who just buy digital all the time these days.
More or less, yeah.
That their voices are very echoed out.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like it's definitely fair. I mean, I don't want to get too into the specifics of game preservation, but like one of the biggest forces opposing game preservation is the ESA. So it's hard to like put your voice out there when the lobbying group for all of the publishing companies in America is against preserving games because they believe like you used to in your when you were the naively talking, when you mentioned naively that you thought that you could trust the companies to do it themselves, they believe that the companies are doing it themselves. That was why this study was commissioned in the first place, to see what that number was like of like games that are currently like unavailable, and it's 87%. Like the big fight with game preservation isn't even necessarily allowing games to be sold to me and you. The big fight with game preservation is literally just to allow libraries and archives to digitally preserve these games, because they're not even allowed to do that. At the moment, they're not even allowed to do that. Like if you've got like, you could have like a museum that has a massive collection of physical games.
Yeah,
they can't digitally preserve those games.
Oh, that sucks.
And the ESA is arguing against that. And right now in legislation, like if someone wanted to do research into a video game that was only, and they lived in Australia and it was only available in, say, London, in an archive in London, they would have to fly to London to research that game. Well, the ESA's argument, I'm sorry, I'm going to just info dump just a little bit more. The ESA's argument is around, essentially, they don't want the creation of what they call the online arcade. So basically, they think if a library uploads thousands upon thousands of classic games for research purposes, that will only be accessed by researchers and journalists, academics, and game developers. Like, that we would all get access to it, and we would illicitly get a hold of all these games. And I mean, I hate to break it to the ESA, but emulation's a thing, and we could do that anyway if we wanted to. The cat's out of the bag. Sorry to just completely go on a tear there.
I didn't know anything about it, Amy.
Neither did I until recently. I gotta lie, when I was researching this video, I didn't expect one of the primary villains of my research to be the fucking ESA. I thought I'd have to at least make an E3 video for that to happen.
Well, let's.
Should we do a half time, because we're just over halfway through?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'll do a quick indie game of the week. Oh, you've checked it off. I was looking for it to check off, and then I was like, it's already checked. So it's indie game of the week. Just very quickly, this is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool-looking upcoming indie game that Amy did play the demo for this week. Thank you. She didn't forget. She didn't have a nap and sleep in. She played the demo for a game called... Naps do not suck. Shut up. She played the demo for a game called Frogue, which is like frog and rogue smooshed together. And it's fucking moody. This is a lot of fun. Like, I played this demo for 30 minutes. I stopped because it crashed. Not because I wanted to stop. I just crashed, and then I was like, okay, that's the universe telling me to stop playing this demo. So Frogue's like this action platformer. So you know how frogs can stick to any surface, essentially. So you've got this grid level, and you've got all these platforms everywhere, and you have a sword that lets you manipulate time, and there's enemies shooting at you, and you jump around the level, and if you pass through enemies, you kill them, and you can also throw the sword, and like it becomes like this almost bullet hell puzzle, where it's like you have to figure out how to get around without getting hit and killed and shot by all these enemies, and like pass through them and hit them and kill them. And I was just like, honestly, go check out the trailer for it, like, because a description of it will pale in comparison to see. Once you see the game for 5 seconds, you'll be like, okay, I get it. It's really fun.
I get it.
It was really fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Like when you start picking up like mid-run, because it's run-based. So you die, you go back to the beginning. And like you pick up power-ups, and it's just like, oh, this is fun. Like you can get an extra sword, so you can throw two, and like you can... It's like, fuck yeah. I was having fun. Like, not like I needed another fucking game to add to the list of games that I want to try and play when it comes out, but that's what happened. So it's been developed and published by Wired Dreams Studios. It's coming TBA to PC, and there's a link in the description. So you can go and check it out, and go and play the demo for yourself if you want, and most importantly, go and wishlist the game to support the developer.
Wishlist.
Should we do the break time? I need to get some oxygen in this room.
It's time for the halftime break show. We're now going to go and take a break. We'll be back.
Right after these ads. We don't have any ads.
We do not. You know what's not sitting in good comfort right now?
What's not?
Yeah, because Dutch government is going to ban loot boxes, Amy.
Are they now? Apparently they are.
That's what the tagline says. That's what the bar line says. And I'm going off the stuff you've written.
That's what the thing you've written said. Imagine if I just went, I tricked you.
I copied and pasted. I lied. I didn't write any of this.
Most of it's quotes. So, no. Man, you want to talk? You want to talk about things that I'm sick of fucking talking about? Loot boxes. since 2017. The Netherlands Public Information Service confirmed the plans via email to researcher Leon Y. Zhao by saying, quote, "As of this moment, there are plans for the Dutch government to improve the regulations for in-game purchases. One of the goals is to ban loot boxes in games," end quote. The Netherlands' decision to block loot boxes comes after a year after 6 political parties submitted a motion to the House of Representatives to ban the feature. At the time, the motion noted that the Dutch gambling authority's attempts to regulate loot boxes was overturned, as the Administrative Jurisdiction Division ruled that EA had not broken the country's gambling laws with its use of loot boxes within FIFA. That last bit was just like the context of like where this is all coming from. But yeah, basically, they're planning to attempt to draft legislation to ban loot boxes in the Netherlands.
I won't lie, like right now, in the Netherlands right now, their government is kind of shit in the bed right now. I think that's all over the place. So...
what's that like?
I don't know. Their only famous person is Max Verstappen, so...
Boo!
The orange smoke will come for you.
I don't care. Let it come for me.
So if this does happen, this is fantastic, and I think eventually this will be. I think eventually loot boxes are going to get banned. I think it's just going to be one of those things that just takes time, or it may take a long time, but it's going to eventually. I think it's going to hit there. And yeah, I think that's ultimately what's going to be and everything. And hopefully, I think that this will be if it does go through, touch wood, it will. This will just be the domino that will start knocking down the rest of Europe and bringing the rest in and everything. Because I think if one goes, I think others will go and start pulling it all together. And then that's a big milestone of money that EA will be losing out on for the FIFA points, or not FIFA, EA points now.
EA Sports FC is the name of the game.
Yeah. I haven't seen a trailer of that yet, have we?
It's coming out in September, I think. There's going to be a beta soon. Like, I don't think it's like I'm fascinated to see how well that game sells. Like, I'm fascinated to see how much like brand recognition there is with it being called FIFA versus it being called EA Sports FC. Like, just out of curiosity more than anything else. Like, how many people know, right?
It's going to be interesting. Sort of. I think it'll still sell.
It'll still sell. It's just I'm curious to know how much of a dip it's going to take, more than anything.
The ultimate question, I think, it's how big. If the dip is, it's all compared to how significant the dip is. Is it a bit significant enough dip? Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's you. Bless you.
Well, that just came for the wrong reasons, at all at the wrong time. If the dip is significant enough, that's then is it? It then is EA going back to FIFA to say, "All right, we'll pay you what you wanted."
Like the meme.
Corrupt development going to a corrupt industry.
Andrew Wilson just been like, "Yeah, we fucked up," because I guarantee you that number will go up.
Oh hell yeah!
I think they're helped by the fact. I think they are helped by the fact that they don't really. There's not really a competitor, right? Like there's no like it's not like the olden days where there was the arguments of whether FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer was the best one. Like
but FIFA still outsold it at the same time.
Yeah, it's like there's not really like a Pro Evolution Soccer at the moment, so it's like They brought one out a couple of years ago, didn't they? And it was terrible.
Apparently, it's doing very well.
Oh, cool.
Player base wise,
I just feel like most people will see a football game come out and it's not FIFA, and then go, "Watch this." Oh, it is FIFA. Really? Let's be fair.
Yeah. I bet the tagline saying will be, "We are still the same." Same game, different name.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
The tagline.
Nothing changes.
Yeah. You want to know what? You're fucking right there.
I wouldn't know. Fuck it.
I knew you were going to go for it.
I want to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard moves closer to completion. So the big court case we talked about last week, I want to say, possibly the week before, It was 2 weeks ago, yeah. The big court case between the FTC, who was seeking an injunction to delay the takeover. They lost, essentially, from the judge, Judge Jacqueline Scott Cawley's ruling. I've pulled out a couple of quotes. The whole thing's quite fascinating to read. It's actually quite entertaining. But the parts that I've pulled out, she wrote, quote, "There are no internal documents, emails, or chats contradicting Microsoft's stated intent not to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox consoles. Despite the completion of extensive discovery in the FTC administrative proceeding, including production of nearly 1 million documents and 30 depositions, the FTC has not identified a single document which contradicts Microsoft's publicly stated commitment to make Call of Duty available on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch," end quote. And then later it says, quote, "Before the merger, a consumer wanting to play a Call of Duty console game had to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox. After the merger, consumers can utilize the cloud to play on the device of choice, including, it is intended, on the Nintendo Switch," end quote. So that was the ruling. There's tons of stuff in there. Like, she throws a bit of shade at the at the FTC because they did, from what I seemed to gather from like following along as it was happening, like the FTC really came into this underprepared. Like to make their case in general, like. So that was an interesting flex. They've appealed, but the restraining order that they have against Microsoft ends. I mean, this podcast goes out on Friday night, so in a few hours from when this podcast goes out. So, like, if the appeals court doesn't read the appeal, Microsoft could close this deal next week, Monday, Tuesday. Because it seems like because I watched Rebecca Valentine talking about this when the news broke, it seems like they're going to go ahead and just close the deal regardless of what the UK has to say about it.
UK can't do anything about it at the end of the day. It's just all that'll be is just that if they don't solve it, if they don't come to a compromise somehow with each other, Call of Duty ain't coming to the UK anymore.
Yeah, so like I've seen people talk about how far-fetched that is, but we just saw Threads, which is Facebook's version of Twitter, which has just launched in the last couple of weeks, and because of all of the data that it scrapes, by the way, don't sign up for Threads for the love of God. Like it hasn't launched in the EU. Like if Meta is going to launch an entire social media network and cut out the entire EU and be like, that's fine, I'm pretty sure Xbox is going to be fine with not selling Activision Blizzard games in the UK. Like,
yeah,
but selling them in the rest of the world.
Yeah, the only thing that hurt the CMA has hurting is the UK gaming industry.
Basically,
by doing this.
Yeah.
They have to come to a compromise with Microsoft at the end of the day if they want to. The UK games industry is one of the biggest industries out there. There's no doubt about it. It's one of the biggest industries out there. It's for the size of us and everything, by per capita and everything. Like we're up there batting with the highest.
It's like top 5 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, we're like top 5. Yeah. So the CMA needs to come up with something here and come to a compromise with Microsoft or something like that, to get this sorted, and I think Microsoft Xbox will pull the Activision games from the UK, and that's millions, if not millions, and not more millions, that will leave the physical industry, the physical media industry itself, and the industry itself over here in the UK. And I think,
well, you got to think about things like VAT as well, like.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Tax and stuff, but
and there's no doubt, like, people, if they wanted to, like, import, they can, they'll be able to do it, but that's going to cost a lot more. Like, they think that they're already paying 70 quid for a game. You order it from, say, America, you're probably throwing at least 20 quid VAT on top of that, if not more. If it probably will be more because of the block and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're going probably to 100 quid potentially for a game. But when it's already 70 quid's already overly expensive anyway, so it's like, Jesus, come on, man. So
yeah,
it's bonkers.
You'll be able to like change your console's region settings and stuff, but you have to make a new account to do it. Like I've done it on my Switch, because I used to get review codes, and sometimes they were American. So on my Switch, I've got Jerobolod and Jerobolod NA.
Yeah.
But I have to switch between those two accounts to just depending on what games I want to play. So like there's ways around it and stuff, but it'll harm the industry in a lot more different ways, because like if this drags on and the CMA digs its heels in, like and let's say we are in a situation where, you know, Activision Blizzard games business in general is just not done in the UK at all. Like, did Microsoft have several studios in the UK that they might look to move because like, you know, they don't want to, like, at that point the UK would seem like a hostile place for Microsoft. I'm just talking purely from a business sense here. Then they're definitely not going to open any new studios in the UK. And if they can move studios out of the UK, say France or Ireland, like relatively close places, if they can figure out a way to do that, they probably would do that. If they can figure out a way to do it.
I see where you're going with that. There's no doubt about that, and I think there's always that. It's not a 0% chance. There's always that chance.
Yeah, like I don't mean they'll close everything down like within the next couple of years.
Yeah,
it's like,
but I think it's spot onto the part of that. I would show Microsoft will start thinking we're a hostile country of where they're not open for business, which we were told we were open for business. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, everyone else, we've been told we are open for business.
Yeah, we're open for business, but we're the only fucking country in the world that said no to this deal.
I know. I'll say this right now. The government's going to get involved in this.
I think they're going to have to, right?
They're going to have to, yeah.
That's really that opens an entirely different can of worms. Because it's like the CMA is supposed to be an independent authority that rules on this, and the government is just supposed to go, cool, like, that's the decision, then that's the decision. But, like it was like, what was it? Like, the day before the CMA made the ruling, our Prime Minister and business and Chancellor was standing like with video game people in Number 10 saying, we want to make the UK a big place to make video games. And it's like, you might have just done the opposite.
Next day, 24 hours. CMA is like, we didn't get your memo, Prime Minister. Sorry, oligarch. We know you can warm your own house, but we can't. We gotta
we had to make a choice between paying our electricity bill or paying for food, and we chose food. Sorry, internet went out.
I think I don't know if they can actually do anything. They say they can change any law they want if they wanted to. So if they wanted to, they probably could. They probably would try. But CMA is going to have to come to some sort of compromise with Microsoft. And Microsoft also will have to make some compromise as well. Let's just say let's just say it's a one-sided thing. It's a both-sided thing.
Yeah. Well, the from what I understand, Microsoft were working on an appeal. With like the CMA, which is going to take a long time. They've paused that now, and both sides are negotiating, but any negotiation will just end up having to go through the same process. So it's definitely, even if they come to an agreement tomorrow, it's not going to be finalized by July 18th, which is when they need to complete the deal by. But I had something in my head and it just disappeared. It disappeared in a flash of Xbox.
The red ring of death.
My brain just red ringed. Oh no. It's already happening. It's already happening. But yeah, no, it's like they're gonna, like, this deal could be concluded by Monday. At this rate.
What's the date? The 18th.
So the date is the 18th.
Yeah, so Tuesday next week.
So like Monday, Tuesday, like they could get the deal done by then. Like that was it. So the CMA's big hang up was on cloud gaming, which like Microsoft will probably just within reason, like will probably just literally rock up to the CMA and go, look, what the fuck do you want? We'll do it. Because their big thing for this was the mobile division, was King, Activision Blizzard King. They were after the mobile side of things, and the big hang up in America with the FTC was over Call of Duty, which is probably like after King, like the next thing that you would want if you're Xbox. And the CMA doesn't have an issue with either of those things. It's cloud gaming, which if we take the statements that we heard in the FTC court case at face value isn't a massive thing for Microsoft at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
It's like the thing that most people don't use with their Game Pass subscription. So I imagine they're more than prepared to make a concession on that. And the CMA can save face by going, we made a deal with them. And
That's
now everything's hunky dory. It's gotta happen. The UK can't even when the CMA made this decision, the EU was still deliberating over it, and the FTC was suing them. So it's like they looked pretty good. But now they just look like fucking idiots.
Yeah, especially what was a couple of weeks after that EU went.
Yeah, the EU.
Yeah, you go for it.
Literally, then turned around and went, "No, it's fine. We've talked to them like adults, and we've come to a deal."
The thing is, the FTC went for the stupidest thing. Microsoft on many occasions have come out and says we don't have any intention to make Call of Duty exclusive.
Yeah,
they've come out on many occasions to say this. They've agreed. They've negotiated plans with multiple companies to have it on their platforms in whatever type of way.
Yeah,
and it's just like they've done everything to show that they are not doing this thing, and that's the thing you target.
Yeah,
really stupid.
Well, they were targeting the thing that two idiots who run a weekly podcast said when this deal was announced, it would be really stupid if Xbox pulled Call of Duty off of PlayStation. It would be like shooting themselves in both feet with a shotgun. It would just for their business interests alone, it would be a terrible idea. And we figured that out in January 2022. The FTC, what I think, and this is pure speculation on my part, and I don't have any I don't have any expertise in law. What I think the FTC were hoping for was they were going to go through, because they went through a million things, a million documents, which is emails and everything like that. I think they thought they were going to find somewhere in an email someone saying, "Yeah, let's pull Call of Duty off of PlayStation," and they couldn't. So then that was their whole strategy fell apart, because a lot of the argument in that arena hinged on how low Microsoft's console share is comparative to comparative to PlayStation and Nintendo, and the FTC spent an incredible amount of time trying to argue that the Switch wasn't a competitor to the Xbox, just so they could close that percentage gap and make it not look as bad. And that was obviously never going to work. I think the FTC thought they were going to find the smoking gun, and the smoking gun didn't exist. So that's on them. And I don't know what they're going to do to appeal. They can't, I don't think there's a way that they can win. So I can't see there even. I personally, from everything I've seen from analysts talking, I don't know if this appeal would even get accepted, because I don't think they can bring anything new to their argument. It would just end the same way.
Probably.
But yeah, we'll probably, if it goes through, we'll talk about it next week, I guess. And then it might finally be over.
I'll say this right now.
It won't be the main topic. But Moody, it might finally be over.
Oh, I mean, we know it won't be.
It might, though. It might. Okay, let me have this. It might finally be over. I'm so happy.
If it is, I'm driving up just to high five you to come back down.
I'm in. I'll meet you outside.
We'll just run dun, 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 dun,
you know what?
Yeah.
I know a really good big field, so we can get the full run across a field thing. Yeah.
And I'll just keep on running into my car and drive back.
I'll get some GoPros so we can get first person.
Oh, God, Jesus.
It's over on a t-shirt.
Oh, God. Let's go. Sega of America workers successfully vote to form a union.
Sega of America workers have successfully voted 91 to 26 to form a union called the Allied Employees Guild Improving Sega, or AGES-CWA. AGES-CWA is going to be the fifth video game union in the United States, following successful unionization efforts at Microsoft's ZeniMax Studios, Activision Blizzard's Raven Software, Blizzard Albany, and VR/AR indie developer Tentacles. The successful vote makes Aegis CWA the first multi-department union at a major video game company.
Yeah, unionize. Fuck those 26.
You
might have your reasons.
You've got your reasons, right? Like, it's not an easy thing, like when you get, because I imagine that was like, if you unionize, we saw the union busting stuff Activision did, so.
Yeah,
we see what these people are bombarded with.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to all. That's fantastic. I'm so happy. That's amazing. Continue to do this in America. Hopefully it'll eventually come over here. I know I think in Ireland voted to do this in Ireland, I think it was, if I remember rightly, we talked about it. And hopefully it'll start coming over in the UK and everything. But yeah, well done. Yay.
Yeah, everybody should be in the union. Unions are good. So yeah, I don't really have anything to add. This is great.
Oh, it was going to be a fast one. It was literally just going, yay, well done, yay, let's do this. Congrats.
Should we do then a second run through the fields?
Dun, 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 dun.
I'll wear the It's Over t-shirt and you wear the unionized t-shirt. We'll just high five. Is it a jumping high five?
Yeah, it's like
and then we jump. And how many takes do you think we would need to get it?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like we'd be perfect on this part. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah, we've got the slow motion running down.
It'll be literally trying to nail the smack.
and just so everybody's aware, it won't be us running at normal speed, and I'll make the footage slow motion. We will do the slow motion run. Like that's how committed we are to the bit.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Sega.
I knew you were going to go to that one.
It's very funny. Sega says pay-to-earn blockchain games are boring, then announces one anyway. These are two stories that I pulled it from. So last week, Sega apparently... So many, many months ago, Sega announced that they were doing their super game, which was going to be blockchain and have NFTs and stuff. And then and then last week, Sega co-chief operating officer Shuji Utsumi, basically the quote is, quote, "The action in play-to-earn games is boring. What's the point if games are no fun? We're looking at whether this technology is really going to take off in this industry after all," end quote. So basically, not a full U-turn, but as part of this sort of U-turn, they said their strategy would be to test the waters with less popular franchises. Keep that phrase in mind. So they would be keeping the likes of Sonic or Yakuza / Like a Dragon away from blockchain NFTs while they tested the waters with something else. That was on Friday last week. 3 days later, I open my phone. Sega has announced a licensing deal with Line Next to create a blockchain game based on, quote, "an immensely popular franchise," end quote. The game will reportedly support NFT production, digital payments, and marketing activities, and is part of Line Next's plan to popularize Web3 gaming.
Yeah, this when I saw this thing, this all confused me because I watched SkillUp's video and like he talks about like Sega saying blockchain things as boring and everything like that.
Yeah, which he did. Yeah,
and but he obviously didn't. Obviously, it happened. The video dropped before the
next announcement. Yeah, because it was 3 days later. So like when I was looking at the dates on the stories, it was like 3 days apart. And I was just like, what the fuck, man?
I don't know what to say for this one, Amy. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just like
it's bold of Sega to announce in advance that they're going to make a boring game.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
I'm like, it makes no sense.
No,
that's the thing about it. Like at the beginning. Yeah. Sorry, my apologies there. Yeah. And I thought
you didn't, but it's fine.
I didn't.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing highly polished, highly produced content here at Words About Games.
I know. I still try to mute to yawn. It's rude. But
I mean, we're talking about Sega making a boring game. I don't know. It's kind of fits.
I get you there. I get you. Yeah, I don't. I have nothing to say. I'm not gonna lie. My brain is just like,
What?
it's okay. Sega, you want to continue to be stupid? Fine, fine. There. That's my quote. Sega decides to continue to be stupid, and
So-
then be more stupid.
Sometimes, you know what? You've just got to take the facts as they are and lay them out, and no further commentary is necessary.
Yeah. I think that's what this is basically at the end of the day.
It's amazing.
All right, let's go to EA reveals new studio Cliffhanger Games working on a Black Panther title.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening. The studio is being led by Kevin Stevens, who is the former head at Monolith Games, which made Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, and the Fear games, which are really good. Well, the first one's really good anyway. And it's made up of employees who have worked on Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Halo Infinite, God of War, and more. Their first title will be a game based on Marvel's Black Panther. And because I wrote this next note because I was really confused when I was reading this.
Thank you for putting that last part in. Yes,
This is a different game from Amy Hennig's upcoming Captain America / Black Panther game, because they were announcing it like it was a new announcement, and I was like, no wait, but they announced the Black Panther game ages ago. And I was like, oh, this is a different Black Panther game.
Are they going to be this different look?
I don't know.
Or are they going to be like the same, like say whoever Amy Hennig's have got to voice and potentially mocap T'Challa and Black Panther in that game. Are they going to get the same one to do it for this one, or are they going to? Or is it going to be like a freaking Marvel Spider-Man thing, and Square Enix's Spider-Man, where it's completely a different person and different mocap and everything? You know what I mean? And then you just go to the thing of why, especially as you're all under the same publisher.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You don't know that. I'm just throwing out words there. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, representation matters and everything, and I don't think we've seen many black superhero video games out there yet of real significance off the top of my knowledge.
Miles Morales,
yeah. They tried, obviously, in Avengers for when they released the Black Panthers DLC. But that didn't really do anything, did it?
I mean, the game was pretty dead by then.
So not real. Yeah.
I mean, the base game had Kamala Khan, and then surrounded by five white people. I was trying to remember the roster of the original Avengers in the game, but yeah, no, I think that's it. I'm trying to rack my brain of superhero games. There's been a lot of superhero games recently.
But I don't think one's been represented by a person.
I don't even think the team ones have. Like, I don't even think there wasn't one in Gotham Knights.
No.
And then we've had
the
a million Batman games. Like,
Guardians, no. Doesn't help that most of them are aliens. But you know what I mean.
Sure. There was a green person in Guardians of the Galaxy. But no.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
People, because I'm pretty sure they made Drax more greeny in that movie.
I don't remember.
He looked more green compared to the Dave Bautista one, should I say?
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, this is great. At the end of the day, for representation and everything for that. I think I can just remember. I always remember and look back of like when Black Panther came out in the film theaters, and I think it was a big cultural shift and everything. I know we already had like Blade and everything. I know a lot of people say, but we had Blade. They had Blade before and everything like that. I was like, it's
sure. But then we had nothing until we got to Black Panther.
Between then, and this wasn't just. This was that film was literally culturally relevant because it was like the behind the scenes, like the director, the writers, and everything like that were all like mostly people of color and everything. They were really being very diverse, and it was a practically black cast, which was absolutely incredible, and they all kicked ass and everything. And still, like, rest in peace to this day to Chadwick Boseman for it. But yeah, it's like that was a great cultural shift and everything for the industry. And we've thankfully seen more and more films, not just superhero movies, but other movies as well. Still needs more, we all know this, but it's good to see that. It's great to see that, Joe, then 2 Black Panther games, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, basically. Like, my initial confusion aside, like, which I think was understandable. It's like, have they just announced the game? Forgot they announced the original game. It's like, yeah, cool. Let's have 10 Black Panther games. Fuck it. Let's make all superhero games Black Panther.
Why not? Why not? Indeed. You're next.
Yeah, I'm next. Indeed.
We're coming down to the bottom of the barrel now.
I don't know. We still got a lot. I have to read this. I don't know if either of us is going to have anything to say, but I have to read this. The fact that you've watched Skillup's last video means you've heard this story too. A petition for South Korean ratings board to change a game rating led to an investigation that uncovered massive corruption. A trio of employees have resigned from South Korea's Game Regulation and Administration Commission, which is called GRAC, which is funny, after an investigation uncovered corruption at the commission. The investigation started when a petition was launched after the mobile game Blue Archive had its age rating changed from 15 to R18. The petition's large number of signatures, which was 5,000 signatures, prompted a public audit into GRAC, which then discovered that 3 employees allegedly mislaid 700 million won, which is worth over $534,000, from taxpayers that was meant to be used for other service projects. The identities of the employees have not been revealed, though it's believed they worked in departments for management, planning, game content management, and self-regulatory support. It's further alleged that those embezzlement funds were used to mine Bitcoin. What's the meme with where you knock over the little domino? And it's like the big dominoes that go back, where it's just like some gacha game fans got annoyed that their gacha game rating changed from 15 to R18.
Yeah.
So they started a petition. That's the first step. And then the last step is, there's actually massive embezzlement and fraud happening at the Korean Ratings Commission. Which is just wonderful. Just an incredible sort of chain of events that I found hilarious.
It's funny as hell. There's no doubt about that. That this one little thing, them changing a rating, basically got a petition to come to start, and that one petition just to get the rating changed has brought the entire system down, basically, in South Korea, which is just really funny. And yeah, I don't know much about it. I did hear it in Skillup's video and everything, but I don't know much about it. So.
No, it's fair. I don't think there's much more to say beyond that. Other than in Skillup's video, he said, "Don't fuck with gacha game fans." I guess. And it's no shit. I throw a lot of punches out here on Words About Games. I am never going to say a bad word about a gacha game. Holy shit. I get shit done.
Clearly. So you will have, without realizing it, they'll have a petition on you and you'll somehow fall down to corruption, Amy, and I don't know what you will be corrupt about. I don't know what I'm corrupt about.
I'm wearing a Shinra t-shirt.
Oh no, Amy.
Is that anything?
maybe. Let's go to ID Xbox's Chris Charla believes there's less name to separate AAA games and indie, less need, should I say, to separate AAA games and indie games.
Yeah, so Develop Brighton's been happening recently.
Yes.
And there was Chris Charla did a fireside chat. He said tons of stuff. I thought I find the things that he talks about quite interesting anyway. But there was 2, and they're fairly long quotes. But there was 2 quotes that I kind of thought, that's interesting. We'd like to maybe bring up on the podcast. So the first one, he was asked about the blurring lines between indie and AAA games, and he said, quote, For consumers, we actually need to separate it less and less. Consumers just think about games. This game is cool. That game is cool. I want this one and that one. For them, Call of Duty and Castle Crashers are both things they may have and play. Excuse me. So on a creative side, I don't think we have to separate them. But there is still value in separating them on the business side. Typically, indie developers are much smaller. They have a totally different relationship in terms of capitalization and how often games come out and things like that. On the business side, there's still a huge difference between AAA and indie, although on the creative side, the output might be different. But from a consumer perspective, they're all just video games, end quote. I just thought it was really interesting insight into sort of something I think we talk about every now and again on the podcast, because we do talk about that sort of line between AAA games and indie games and the middle. It's not quite a AAA game. It's not quite an indie game.
Well, we've talked about it before. I think there was a part a few weeks ago. I don't know if it was a quote from somebody or something like that, where we talked about literally like we all know why there's AAA and the indie games, why that separation is because of capitalism. It's because of money. How much money you get put and everything like that. That's just how it is.
I liked how you put it.
Definition and whatnot. So
they have a totally different relationship in terms of capitalization, which is a nice way of saying AAA games are definitely monetized in a certain way. That indie games aren't.
Yeah, like what was it again? What came out of the lawsuit, the FTC lawsuit? What was it, last week or the week before? Like The Last of Us Part 2 cost $210 million.
Yeah, and obviously how much it cost.
Horizon 2 cost like $200 million, or vice versa.
They were around the same price point.
Yeah. And do you think that and you just go, what the fuck? Like, seriously, you're costing as much as a bloody a movie goes out these days. Fucking Indiana Jones' budget is around $300 million, and that's crashing and burning like a shit on a stick. Like seriously. And then you got these things, and you're throwing that much money into games and everything. So like it's just bonkers. So yeah, spot on when it comes to the capitalization of it and everything.
Yeah. Next then. The second quote that I pulled out because it sounded interesting was here Charla talking about discovery being, quote, the biggest challenge of our age, end quote. And the quote that I pulled out, once I refind my mouse cursor, there we go. Quote, it used to be that Xbox would release an XBLA game every Wednesday, and they would sometimes struggle to find a game to release each week. Today we have dozens of games come out each week. Steam has 10,000 games come out each year. It's really tricky now. That means the whole industry, Xbox included, is focused on how we get players to discover cool games, and I think that's really valuable work, and it continues. There's enough people playing video games, literally billions on the planet, so if you have a game that is good, there should be an audience for it. So how do we help developers find that audience? Even if it's a niche game where the total addressable audience is 60,000, but it's made by one person, and they'll be fine if they just sell 30,000. How do we find those 30,000 out of billions of players? That's something you want a big company like Microsoft to be thinking about, and I think there's some work we can do there, end quote.
Microsoft don't think of the 30,000s. They think of the hundreds, the thousands, the millions.
I think it's an example.
When it comes to the number. Yeah, I know what he mean. I know what he's going for there and everything like that, but the scale on the number is just like it's wrong. What he said.
Sure.
I know he's going for as a example, but his example as the Microsoft.
Sure.
Like, yours is hundreds of thousands, if not millions. If you're selling a game if you're selling a game and you get 20 million copies sold and everything, that's millions and millions of millions.
Your game
of
is
dollars.
Call of Duty.
yeah, basically and whatnot. And it's just that's just how it is and everything. Now he's spot on. If he was like working in like the indie or AA,
well, he sort of is, I guess.
That, yeah, he's absolutely spot on with like just you find that niche, you get that 30 to 60,000 people who are really into your game and everything like that. Those 30 to 60,000 can make your game profitable enough to where you are okay to making a potential sequel or be sustainable and everything. And so that a lot of people I don't think realize that these days. Not in the industry, outside of the industry, the podcasters and everything like that. They may be learning this, but they still need to learn more about it. And thankfully, like as I am in the industry and like speaking to the people I work with and everything, like it's incredible just the knowledge I've learned from it. like this is just like of things and whatnot. It's really insightful these days. So I would shout out to anybody who's a podcaster who just does video game podcasts as a and it's brilliant in everything. Try and speak to a person in the industry to get more insight, because I think it's really going to be more relevant for more stories in the future for you.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously agree with that. I actually really like what Chris Charla was saying. Like, I like the whole quote, because obviously his job is he the head of ID at Xbox? I don't think I wrote that down, but I think he's the head of ID at Xbox. Obviously, his job he's not worried about the Forzas and the Halos and the Gears. He's worried about the indie games that Xbox funds. External partners and stuff. Like, we just had the showcase that happened where it was like, hey, here's some cool indie games. So like what he's talking about the niches. It's like not necessarily like, how do I find the next Hades? You know what I mean? Like the next biggest fucking indie game on the planet that's gonna outsell every other indie game like twice over, you know? Like, and I like the fact that he thinks in his capacity as the ID at Xbox guy, thinks about, how do I connect people to this game that isn't going to set the world on fire, but like if we bring it into ID at Xbox and put it in a showcase, it's going to find the audience that is going to love it, right? Like those total niche games, like Lake is a great example. You know, it didn't review super well, but it found an audience of people. It found an audience of people who really loved it. Like, we both loved it. And it was, and in part,
top 5 games of the year.
Yeah, and it was, I think that was in part because it was put in front of our eyes so we could see it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like people put a lot of stock into reviews as sort of like the main discoverability like tool. Like, if your game gets so many like tons, like a bunch of reviews from a bunch of outlets, and that is definitely one of them. But like, Dave the Diver came out of fucking nowhere, and by the time me and you, and most of the sort of podcasters, game journalists, reviewers had heard of it, it already had like 10,000 positive reviews on Steam. Like, so there are other ways to do that, and I like the fact that they're at least thinking about this at Microsoft.
Yeah, it's a give and take in it, really. Yeah. It's finding that balance, and you see what you can do.
Yeah, it's like going across the whole scale. It's not just how do we get as many people as possible to buy Forza. It's like, right, how do we connect the audience of this weird game that's definitely not going to be a mainstream hit to that weird audience of people like Amy and Kate Alexander.
yeah. I'll state this right now for David Diver game. Guarantee Microsoft are probably in contact with them. Get
this on game. So it's PC only.
PC Game Pass. Yeah, PC Game Pass.
Hey,
type of thing. Guarantee you that.
That's what happened Among Us. Among Us flew up and the Xbox was straight in there. So Game Pass, yeah. Let's scroll back up. It's my turn. So, okay, so we've got one more, I think. And if we've got a quick one. Do we have a quick one?
The bottom one, which is just more laughable and less surprising.
Don't
really want to talk about Peter. I'm not going to lie there.
Yeah. That was in there. It was more of a joke than anything else.
Yeah.
Peter Molyneux saying about his next game, there's definitely been a game like this. Like, yeah, okay, Peter, what fucking year is it? Did I wake up in a fucking time warp?
Is he doing a blockchain game?
He is doing a blockchain game.
A blockchain game. So
unless he's changed his mind, because that was a couple of years ago.
He cares about one thing and one thing only, and that's money. Fuck off, Peter.
I think I don't even necessarily think he cares about money. I think he more cares about looking like the smartest guy in the room at any given moment.
He looks like the dumbest guy.
My game
looks alone.
My game is going to be unbelievable. It's going to have all this stuff in you've never seen it before. It's what I said to Vitz when he shared the story with me in DMs, and the headline was basically what I wrote. Peter Molyneux teases that, you know, he's making a game with things that have never been seen before, and I replied to Vit saying, and they'll still never have been seen before after the game comes out. Because that's how Peter Molyneux fucking works. He's laid low just long enough so that maybe enough people have forgotten. That fucking Cube game. Yeah, Apple is reportedly scaling down its Vision Pro headset production, so sources close to Apple have told the Financial Times that the company is scaling back its plans for its Vision Pro AR headset. Supply chain issues are reportedly to blame for the scaling back of production on Apple's $3,500 headset. Chinese manufacturer Luxshare is reportedly only making around 400,000 units in 2024. Two suppliers have alleged that Apple have only requested enough components to make between 130,000 and 150,000 headsets. The Financial Times reported that Apple's internal projections for the headset were to shift 1 million units in its first year, and Vision Pro is due to launch in early 2024. $1,350,000 VR headsets.
Only aiming for the elite, the top 5% out there to afford this thing and everything. So, and they would have still been profitable because of it.
Yeah,
and everything. So, either way, this is a stupid story, and I don't really give a flying who about. I'll give you a story that it's not about video games, but it'll be something to you to shout out in happiness and everything like that. The SAG have gone on strike. The Hollywoods are on strike.
Yes, let's fucking go.
Union represents over 160,000 entertainment workers across the United States have all gone on strike.
Those picket lines just got a lot bigger.
I'll say this right now, going off a little tangent. Bob Iger, sort your shit out. I love you, sir. I think you're one of the best managers, bosses, leaders, inspirational leaders out there, but you are on the wrong side here. I'm telling this right now to you. Just sort this shit out. This is pathetic, and you know this. I personally love the CEOs of all these companies. I love their strategy, Moody. It's a foolproof strategy. They're going to cost themselves billions so that they can save millions. Who wouldn't sign up for a plan like that? Bonkers, absolutely.
They're fucking, it's fucking stupidity, man. Just pay them just give them what they want. It's not going to cost you that much money. What the fuck are you doing?
It isn't. That's the thing about it. It isn't either. You're right. So anyway, we're all done and dusted. So what is happening next week?
So I have an announcement. Sort of. I know the streams.
Drum roll, please.
The Friday at 6 p.m. UK time stream started last week, and they started because I basically had the capacity to do them for the next month at that time. But yesterday, I finally sorted it out where they can be permanent. I can just permanently do streams at 6 p.m. on Fridays. So every Friday, depending on if it's fucking holidays or whatever, I can do 6 p.m. streams. So I'm going to play lots of games at 6 p.m. every Friday on twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames.
I was only there for literally a short minute because I was doing something. I was watching stuff with my partner. How did it go?
It was good.
Did playing Pokemon Violet?
What I realized was it didn't have voice acting, and I was expecting it to, and it didn't.
No, none of them have.
So that was interesting because I kept trying to differentiate the characters with stupid accents, and what I found was, one, I'm bad at that, and two, I couldn't remember what accent I'd given characters, so I kept changing.
Oh wait, didn't I use this accent on this person?
I don't remember.
Oh, no.
I couldn't remember, so all the accents are all over the place.
Yeah.
But no, too, it was good. It's choppy as fuck. The game is not still not in a great place. But I was having fun with it.
That's good.
As someone who's played a little bit of one Pokemon once, it was interesting to get into. I basically, in the stream, I was gonna go at 11, but I had to stop early because it was too warm. Because for some reason on that one day and one day only, the temperature spiked. Thanks, Mother Nature. I got past basically the intro, I guess, what I would consider to be the intro. So now it's it's dropped to you can go and be the best Pokemon trainer, and here's a story. Here's go and hunt some legendary Pokemon. and then like here's another story. There's like it's like put 3 different like paths in front of me, so it's like I'm probably just gonna like work my way around and do stuff, and like my intention is to finish the game.
The one thing I haven't done for this Pokemon game.
Imagine there's a Pokemon game that Amy's finished, but Moody has not.
I know. That's bonkers. That I've had no urge to go back whatsoever.
That's fair.
It's really pissed me. My only hope is that when they're releasing the DLC, which is coming soon, that's when they're going to release just a massive update in general to fix the issues. That's my hope, and then maybe I can come back to it. But
yeah, that's why I say my intention is to finish it and not I'm gonna finish it. Just feel it because like right now I'm enjoying the game, and like it'll judder and it'll like, you know what I mean, like it does like get really framey, and like if it gets worse as the game goes on, there might become a point where I'm just gonna have to do what you did and say, look, I can't do this anymore. I'm assuming it's in a better state than it was when you got it because there have been patches, but it's definitely not fixed all the way yet. I can tell you that right now. But I'm enjoying it, so that's good. And I've got lots of ideas, like we were just talking earlier about Final Fantasy X. Like, I've got lots of ideas for games to play. So.
The thing is about it for the Pokemon game, which what annoys me about Violet and Scarlet so much is that, like on the other games, like I did like different type of versions. So like when I played it the first time, I'm playing with nothing but the new Pokemon. That's what I go for. I don't touch the old Pokemon. I only play with the new ones, and then I'll do a Kanto run, which is just the original 151.
It's like,
and everything, because that's what I just love doing. I like doing that type of
personal challenge runs.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I like doing it for Pokemon and whatnot, and it's just like I can't do it right now with this. I just can't with the bugs, with the issues, with the choppiness. I just can't. And that's irritating me. The hell, man. Our people, you can see. Pokemon, all of it.
I have Pokemon too.
God's sakes, and it's just like
Eevee.
Like I've got literally 3 Pokemon cards basically above my TV right now of Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur, and it's just like I cannot play. I can go back to the other ones that came out the year before. Pearl and
Diamond.
Yeah, and everything, and like those were really good. I enjoyed those because they fucking worked in me. I won't lie. That
just
helps.
worked.
Just worked.
Wait, hold on. It just worked.
Just worked. Heck, I can freaking go back and bloody go on Sword and Shield if I want.
That's true. Like when I was looking at Boomerang, that was the one I was hoping was gonna be available as like a bonus game, like Sword or Shield. Because as much as I want to play Violet or Scarlet, like I knew that I might have a performance issue because I've heard about the game, and I've played Sword was the one that I played a bit, and I was like, this worked fine when I played it 2 years ago.
Did you not think of trying Diamond or Pearl?
No, because like, and you know me, I love old games, but what I was trying to aim for was like the newest game, just purely from a quality of life perspective. Because you gotta remember, I got a lot of unsolicited. Actually, no, I got a lot of solicited opinions about a lot of different Pokemon games. So I got to hear a lot about like changes that have been made as the series has progressed. I wasn't 100% on how modernized Pearl and the other one, Diamond. Yeah, how modernized they were. So I was looking to either go Sword, Shield, Violet, Scarlet. Violet just happened to be available as a bonus game. That was why I chose it.
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
Arceus was available as well, but I know that's a very different experience. Like it's different from like the standard Pokemon experience. And I was like, for my first one, I kind of wanted that standard Pokemon experience. Yeah,
that's fair. I get it.
But yeah, that's cool.
I'm curious to think what you're going to say of Arceus when you give that a go.
Yeah, like that's on the list. Like eventually I will play Arceus. Like, like my plan is not to just play lots of long games at back to back to back. So I'll like break them up with shorter games. But yeah, no, there's like I said on the stream and probably on this podcast when we've talked about the streams, like the list of games that I haven't played, given who I am and what I talk about, would surprise you. It's literally surprised everybody that I've ever spoken to about video games.
I'm the same. I
Yeah.
am the same. So.
And I want to play those games, and this is a good excuse to do that. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Have you thought of what your next game will be, or are you just playing by ear right now?
I'm playing by ear right now. Like, I've got a list going. It's a huge list, and like obviously, like I've taken games that like interest me now in the moment, and added them to a list. Like that's how Pokemon ended up on there. Like Mario is another one that I really want to jump into. Half-Life. Like I own the entire franchise on Steam and have done for a long time, but I've never played. I've played Counter-Strike, but I've never played any of the Half-Life games. So that's another one where it's like, yeah, I'd love to jump in and play that like fucking foundational video game that's inspired about roughly 35% of all the games that followed it, you know?
So does that mean Final Fantasy X is on that list?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Final Fantasy was on the list because, like I said, when I was doing that anecdote about my friend, I said I've only played 4 of them, including 16. So like I wanted to play one, and I didn't know which one. It was like the Pokemon scenario. It's like there's so many, and like I've heard good things about so many of them. And then I asked enough people who all more or less said 10. And I was like, 10 it is. It's on PS Plus, so I can just play it on my PlayStation.
Cool. So
yeah, that's cool. While I'm indulging myself, so I wanted to do a very brief update about the Mass Effect video, which I've put on hiatus. So I haven't really spoken about the progress I've been making on the video for a long time, and I feel like I just want to really quickly do that because I started writing it just before New Year in January, and I took a break when I took a break from literally everything in February, as we all know why. And then when I got back to it, I was writing it, and I finished it. I finished the script, really. It was 30-something thousand words long. It was long, dense, detailed, and fucking terrible. Like, as I was reading back through the script, I was like, I can't make this. This is awful. And, like, not even to the point where I can rewrite it a little bit and like fix the issues. It was like, no, this whole thing needs ripped apart. So that's what I did. I ripped it to pieces and realized there was like 4. It's in 4 sections. And the first section was okay. That just needed a bit of rewriting. The last section is quite short and doesn't require a lot of writing in general from me for reasons that you'll know when I eventually do make the video. But the second section and the third section were shocking. Like, they were because I just kept adding and piling things on where it was just like, oh, I want to talk about this thing and I want to talk about this thing. And it was like somewhere in there, every single chapter just lost the point. Like to the point where what I did was I re-outlined it and I've like focused the points down properly, and then I needed to rewrite it. But at the same time, I was just like, I also need to think about things that aren't Mass Effect right now. Like I'm really like burned out on thinking about Mass Effect. So I'm putting it to one side.
That's really funny. I'm not going to lie that.
I'm putting it to one side to work on other stuff.
Yeah, because you're burned out. I've just got back in.
Yeah, no. Again, it's literally just because it's like I wrote the entire thing, and it's like I know what I need to do. I've figured that part out. So when I go back to it, it's like I just need to write the middle sections, and then I can get to work on actually making the game. But I was just like, I just need a creative break from Mass Effect. So
5 months until end 7 days, so it's all right.
Well, that used to be the joke. I don't know if I don't even know if I can make it to N7 day, but that might be the soft target for the video. Like for the last couple of weeks, I've been like, I guess it's a similar processes to prototyping a video game, I guess, where it's just like I've pulled out a few interesting looking things from my list of top things that I want to make videos about, and then I've outlined a few of them to see where I'm at with them. Like the Microsoft Flight Simulator thing was interesting, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere right now. Like I just don't think there's enough in what I've currently got for a video. So I've been looking at some other topics. One of them is a Pokemon topic. It's a very unhinged video and incredibly research heavy. I don't want to talk about it here, But I will tell you, after we finish recording, the idea that I've had for a Pokemon video.
Good.
And yeah, so it might be a little while before another video essay appears on the website, but you might get a few in quick succession where it's just like me unleashing my pent-up creativity because I've spent too long working on Mass Effect. That I might just very quickly make like 2 or 3 videos and then go back to Mass Effect.
Correct. What else is happening this week, Amy?
So that was, yeah. We've got lots of games are coming out, and I've pulled 4 that I think look really cool and interesting. On Monday, Sticky Business is coming out. That's coming to PC. I talked about that at the Steam Next Fest thing a few weeks ago. That was my biggest surprise of all the Steam Next Fest demos I played. You just run a sticker shop, and I was surprised. Like it was really engaging. Viewfinder comes out on Tuesday, which is July 18th. That's coming out on PlayStation 5 and PC. That's a must-play game for me. I need to get Dave the Diver finished so I can just dive straight into Viewfinder, pun intended.
I'm wanting Viewfinder as well. What's that come? Does PS5 up?
PS5
PC?
and PC, yeah.
So we'll have to have a discussion about that.
We will. We'll have to have a discussion about this next game as well, because Sea of Thieves: The Legend of Monkey Island is out on Thursday. Obviously Xbox and PC, and it's going to be available in Game Pass. Because I don't want to play that as well. And I know you want to play.
Why not on the 21st make that yours game day?
So
I know you want to continue playing Pokemon and everything, but why not just for that one-off play?
I had a thought about that, and we'll talk about it after. Just on we'll talk about it. And lastly, on the Friday, Pikmin 4 comes out, which I'm gonna get from Boomerang. And I might just end up sitting on a table for like 2 months before I send it back. Because
I'm not touching it.
I've had a game from Boomerang for my Switch for like a month, and it's literally just been in its plastic wallet and it hasn't moved. And I'm just like, I have the will to play you, but lots of other games are currently getting in the way. You know?
Yeah.
So there's lots more games. You should always check out other websites that have full lists of games coming out. Those are the ones that stuck out with me. And Moody is always allowed to add more games to this. So I think I covered all the ones that stuck out to you as well.
To my knowledge, yeah.
I just need to check something because for OpenCritic Head-To-Head, I got 2 games to talk about. I don't think the reviews have come out for one of them. Yeah,
Dinosaur's not out yet. I've been looking.
Bastard betraying dinosaur game from Capcom hasn't got any reviews yet. So let's play OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. And if you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Moody, can you just count up how many points you're supposed to have? Because I don't think I've added yours up properly while I do the rest of this. So last week we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 2 games. One of them is Exoprimal. It doesn't have any reviews yet, so we'll probably catch that one next week. But we also tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Oxenfree 2. Yeah, Night School Studios' sequel. Is it right or is it wrong?
It's 13.
Okay, cool. I didn't know whether I'd added Oxenfree 2 on. Because you got 2 points for Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guessed Oxenfree 2 would get an 83, and Moody guessed it would get an 80, and as you might have gathered by that short conversation, Oxenfree 2 has an OpenCritic average of 78, which means Moody has the point. And that puts the current scores at Amy 20, Moody 13, with 2 draws. This week we're doing 2 games. The only 2 games I'm confident are definitely going to get review scores. Yeah, that's how this works. We've been burned on this a few times when we've tried to go with weird indie games and they just don't get scores. So we're very conservative as far as this goes. So the first game we're going to guess is probably the big release of the week for most people, not for me, which is Pikmin 4. I don't know anything about Pikmin.
I have nothing. I have no idea.
No, I don't. I'm going to guess an 82.
86.
As soon as I said 82, I thought, and then you said 86, I've gone, you know what? You're probably closer. Beloved Nintendo franchise, you know, it's like beloved Nintendo franchise, I feel like. We're also going to guess the OpenCritic average of Viewfinder. Now, this is one of those games that Amy has to be careful when guessing because her personal hype levels tend to override her better judgment. But I think this could be in the same. I think this could be in the same vein as in conversations about puzzle games, in the same like conversations as Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this game is a big deal. 91.
Fucking hell. Damn, mad respect.
Yeah. I've the demo I played just I don't know, I feel like this is going to be one of the most impressive games of the year. Not called Breath of the Wild.
Not gonna lie, I'm playing it safe. 90.
That's totally fair. But
I'm making sure no draw, no now. Fucking 90.
Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah. Not getting close to our top 2 reviewed games of the year, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Jack Gene. which was a shock.
I saw that a couple of weeks ago. I forgot to share that.
I was just like, I just looked it up and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I was like, Boomerang doesn't have it. Fuck. Bullshit.
That's pieces. That's yeah. I have to buy it.
That's gonna do it for episode 360 of Words About Games podcast. We're out. Join us next week when we inevitably talk about whether Microsoft closed the Activision deal or not. But also, I should be reviewing Dave the Diver, so that'll be fun.
Oh.
That's my intention. I made a lot of progress on it the last time I played it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I've kind of knuckled down of actually progressing the game instead of just doing the sushi management stuff. I got stuck in this loop of just not progressing the game because I was enjoying the loop of catching fish and doing the sushi thing.
I have not touched it yet, but I do intend to. So
cool. I mean, I'd hope so. You bought it. But let's get out of here. It's time. It's time to roll out. Moody, do you have any final words of wisdom for us?
It's the weekend, everyone. You know what I'm going to say. Have an awesome weekend. Tell someone you love them, like your parents. Hug them. Say awesome things. Send someone a message of just being how grateful you are they're in your life and everything, and just be awesome. Have a great weekend. And unionize. And strike. And strike. And strike. And fuck the Tories. I haven't said that for a while.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh.
It felt good.
Say goodbye.
Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!